Hey Capricorn, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for May 8th to the 14th. Let's get right into stuff. I'm going to be talking about 4 different transits that's going on this week that I think are worth mentioning. We have Venus entering Gemini. We have the new moon on May 11th in Taurus. We have Jupiter entering Pisces. And then we're entering the retrograde shadow on May 14th for Mercury. It's going to be going retrograde in Gemini. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to be starting with a general spread, just general. I'm going to be, so it'll address work, relationship, however it ends up, resonating with you. And then we're going to go into a separate relationship only read, and I'll timestamp for that in the description box below. And also in the description box, you'll find a 15% off coupon code for my Synastry reads that I offer. That's where I take your birth chart, a partner's birth chart, I blend them together, we run a report, we talk about it, and then I pull the current transits that are going on for you guys in your relationship. We talk about that, and I pull a couple of spreads. So you get a lot of information in that particular reading. If you're interested in it, the coupon code is in the description box below. So let's get into this. Let's pull some wisdom of the oracle for some crowning. We have, starting off with yin, that's a feminine energy. There's softness, there's softness, there's love, there's caring, there's empathy, all things yin. We have between worlds, so you sort of perhaps between things in that relationship, in that job, whatever it is, but you're poised for change, which is really quite beautiful. So, okay, let's see what we have going on here. I feel like there's going to be a lot of sixth house stuff going on for you this week. Capricorn, I just feel that, especially because you have a lot, the Gemini energy in your sixth house this week. Why don't we talk about that for a minute? On May 8th, we have Venus entering Gemini. Whenever Venus is in Gemini, we're very, very communicative. We want our finger in every pie. We're very in our mental realm, right? And we're very, very communicative, super communicative. And you have this in your sixth house. So what is the sixth house? Sixth house is a lot of things. The houses are a lot of things. But in short, let's just say the sixth house is your day-to-day work environment, where you work, who you work with, who you work for, the physical surroundings of your work environment. Sixth house is also just your day-to-day experience. It also rules your mental, physical, and emotional health. It's your health. It's your pets. It's, what's interesting too is also, this is the house where we deal with relationships of inequality of any kind at all. So that's where like the worker, the employee-employer relationship comes in. It has us looking at, with a very discriminating eye, areas in our life where we sense there's any inequality, even within our relationships. So this is going on, right, for you. Now, because Gemini's in there, and Gemini's very mental energy and very communicative, you're going to be very communicative on things having to do with work, where things are fair, where they're not fair, how you're feeling about things. Not a good time actually to hold back on something. And I want to kind of jump forward in the week because that's happening on May 8th, okay? On the 14th, we have Mercury entering the pre-shadow. So just a little word about Mercury in Gemini right now. Went into Gemini on May 3rd. It's not leaving until July 7th. That's kind of a long stint to have in Mercury be in one sign for. And Mercury rules Gemini. So there's a lot of communicating, things going on with siblings, quite likely, things going on with extended family members, neighbors, your area. Perhaps you're doing a lot of short distance travel within this time where you're just not getting on a plane. It's a little more localized, like car trips, that kind of thing. But it could also have to do a lot with now I'm not going to say technology, but social media, because Gemini is all about all modes of communication, all modes. It also has to do with doing business as, right? Gemini is about signing on that dotted line, like let's go in and let's get this done. It's also learning something new. It rules early learning, but early learning experiences as you're getting into something maybe that you're not completely seasoned in. So this is all Gemini energy, and we're going to be feeling this really kind of through July, through into the first week of July, where we're going to be in this very active space wherever it's hitting. And because it's in your sixth house, I feel like, first of all, I'm going to give you a very mundane example about how you might experience this. You might have tension with coworkers, and that might be coming out now, making you wonder who you can trust at work. So you want to kind of share some sort of novel professional vision that you might have for the team during that morning office Zoom meeting before they end up stealing it for themselves and using it, which can happen if you're not vocal. And that could happen in the pre-shadow, because remember, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's not that it goes backwards, it slows down. So we should be taking everything a lot slower, right? And so what happens is, with our communication, for you in the 6th house, your communication, you might be very mental, thinking about it in your mind, but you might be a little slower to execute it verbally. And you want to be careful, because people can easily sort of steal your ideas in this energy. So you just want to be careful. Now, this whole thing is going to last, though, this whole retrograde season. It doesn't go retrograde until the 29th. The whole retrograde season is going to happen until the 7th. Okay, so this means that energy, as I mentioned a moment ago, Mercury in Gemini, is going to last for a while. So be prepared to work with the story that begins now until July. So choose the path and direction that you want to take extra carefully when it comes to your career, what you want to do with your day-to-day work environment, the relationships with those people who you share your day-to-day with, as well as your health. Make sure you're really looking at your health. Just lots of extra care. So we have yin and poise. I like this. This is sort of like, let me just kind of sit back and look at things. All right. I love the poise, because you're ready for something new. And you're not being too aggressive about it. Doesn't mean you're not being assertive, but you're not being too aggressive about it. You're stuck between things. And it's like you're very aware of that. And I feel that you're very aware of that. You have a lot of stuff going on in the 3rd and 5th house, which I'll talk about as well throughout the reading. But I feel like there is some sort of just shifting of the plates under your feet, and you're feeling it. Coming into this energy, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So 5 is the number of humanity. It's also the number of conflict, right? So this does indicate a level of some sort of discomfort, but it really is more deeply psychological with the 5 of Pentacles. You can feel tested. Now, if this has to do with money, because Pentacles can represent money, obviously, Pentacles is money, but it's also mental, physical, and emotional connection. Okay, so you could feel tested in your resources. You might be having some sort of financial issues, or fear of financial issues. You may have plenty of money, but you're just afraid of how something's going to ultimately end up rolling out. And you're considering new options that'll help you see your way forward, just in case something goes wrong, or trying to see your way out of a tight pickle that you might have yourself in right now, having to do with finances. And this could also show that you're just scared of losing security of either your financial security, your home, something like that. If you're resonating with this as a relationship, this could be the pain in the aftermath of a breakup, or even a death. Maybe you've experienced some sort of death to somebody close to you, but you have more support than you realize right now, which is actually very nice. Now, the situation right now, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is being crossed by the King of Cups. So there's some sort of conflict that needs to be settled, either within yourself, with someone else, maybe a little bit of both. That would be a general influence, and that's challenging a little bit right now. We have this Knight of Pentacles here. Okay, and what's challenging the Knight of Pentacles is this King of Cups. So the Knight of Pentacles is investing your time wisely, right? If it's you, right, you being very consistent in your efforts. If this has to do with just a general influence, you're very focused on increasing your prosperity, financial growth. You're really looking at good investments, any kind of business venture, either alone or with a partner, actually. Just focusing on an increase in money, or if it's relationship, an increase in connection within a relationship. And this does indicate that it is coming into you. You want to bring it into you, but you might have to work a lot harder than you realize or that you did before, right? This could certainly be the situation if it has to do with work. Now, if this is somebody that you're meeting or dealing with, this is somebody who's super loyal and dependable, and they do have a lot to offer, but they might be a bit boring, Capricorn, and very slow to share their feelings. But depending on what you're looking for, they could be a rock at the end of the day, but they might lack excitement to keep you very interested or capture your heart, so to speak, for the long term in a really satisfying way. But it does depend on where you're at, right? So we have this situation going on, but there's some sort of conflict. So you might be in this situation where you're trying to increase your money. Some of you are going to be in this space where you feel like you're hitting roadblocks. Others of you are in this space where it's really not what you want to be doing. It's just really not. And this is causing a conflict, right, within yourself, or even with somebody else, maybe somebody that you're working with. And if it has to do, again, if it has to do with relationship, you may be kind of struggling with yourself. Like, I really want to be with this person. They look awesome on paper. I don't know. I'm just not feeling I'm feeling like underwhelmed by the situation. There's this element of feeling underwhelmed by something. So it's not a relationship, it's a job. It's something that you're in right now that's very underwhelming. We have the Knight of Cups here working as the crowning energy, which is nice, right? If this is you, you're just being open to real love, something that you really want to do, something that speaks to your heart space, and not judging something or someone by the initial appearance, right? Which is nice. I mean, the Knight of Cups is always about an emotional time, so it's going to be something emotional in general. So that could really have to do with any area of your life. Now, if this has to do with somebody that you're meeting, you may be meeting somebody who's very idealistic. They seem really perfect. They're like, oh yeah, I want to be in that relationship. Let's do this business deal together. Yes, I want the same exact thing. Like, to the point where there's such heavy mirroring of ideas going on that you should stop and say, okay, wait a minute. Is this person stuck behind a false persona, not able to drop the act of who they really are? So if you're feeling that, take your time with anyone or anything that seems too good to be true right now. It doesn't mean that it's not fabulous. Okay, again, Mercury pre-shadow. The whole thing with Mercury pre-shadow is whatever you're getting into new in this particular time period they may look a lot different come the second week of July. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So it doesn't mean that it's not great. It just might not be what it's as being presented as right now. But it's just definitely in a very emotional space. We have a Five of Wands energy. Five of Wands is, again, we have conflict. This is about competition, battle of the wills. Like, it's just an argument. It's an argument. It's lack of agreement. I really don't worry about these things. Arguing is a natural part of life as long as there's resolution. But the Five of Wands, it just does seem like, fighting to be heard kind of thing. And that might happen. I feel like for a lot of you, it just might happen because of this Mercury energy in your 6th house. Because what happens in this energy is, like I said before, it's this slowing down, and it's this need to look at things. And because it's in the 6th house, the houses give the flavor of the experience, right? It's not enough to say, obviously, that Mercury's in Gemini and then it's retrograde. Yes, you might be feeling it in several components of your life, but you're going to feel it more focused in the 6th house. And the 6th house is where we're the most discerning. That's why we call the 6th house the house of problems. It's the house of problems and then solving the problems. That's why Virgo kind of gets a bad rap. They're the landlord of the 6th house. Because they're always told, oh, you're so critical, right? Wherever our Virgo is in our chart, we're very critical and of ourselves and other people and situations, and it's because we want to fix things, right? We're the hermit energy in there. We're very pensive. We want to look at everything and fix things, right? So what can end up happening when you have Mercury retrograde in your 6th house, in the pre and post shadow included, you're going to become very, very discerning and very critical, and you're going to see things that other people aren't able to see just yet. That's the thing. You could see 10 blocks down where everybody else can only see 3 blocks down in the room. So that could create tensions, because people can come in and say, why are you being so critical? Why are you so picky? Why you're never happy? You think you know everything, that kind of thing. So if you're feeling that way, just step back and say, all right, you know what? They kind of don't get it yet. All right. Rather than trying to push your agenda, right, with the Five of Wands, because when everybody's yelling just to be heard, no one gets heard at that point, right? We have the Queen of Cups, which I think is kind of funny, considering what I just said, because this is you. And in astrology, this is Gemini and Cancer, and Gemini is all about communication. We're talking a lot about this Gemini energy, right? But Gemini is about communicating, learning, right? All of that. And Cancer is it's that energy of home. And it's the energy of, what do I need to feel very grounded, rooted, safe, and secure? So it's this communication. And I'm talking about like the general energetic influence, right? Just in a very general way. It also has to do with the idea of ending things and how we end things and looking at how we end things. It's also the fourth house. So you're going to be communicating and thinking about this. Now, this is also, for some of you, first of all, it's a very intuitive energy, right? Very high emotional intelligence. You're not afraid of things here. You're not afraid of intimacy. You're not afraid of what something requires to make it happen in that relationship, that business connection, which is really good, right? I mean, you're in a space where you're very much treasuring what you value. And there's an element of protectiveness about that as well. As a general energetic influence regarding relationship, this can indicate falling in love, deepening of love, and emotional honesty about what's needed to make something work. Again, that's a problem-solving energy, right? So you really want to kind of go in and say, all right, everybody calm the hell down. What do we need to make this happen? This relationship, this work situation, this situation with the pets, this situation with your health. All right, what do we have to do? Let's re-strategize here. It's kind of what you're going to be doing. We have the external energy that's influencing you, which is temperance. It's exactly what I'm talking about here. This is all about cooperation, moderation, reconciling something. So some of you may be in a space where you're reconciling with somebody, either in a relationship, a business situation, anything that would really, I mean, my goodness, just speaking to the idea of just calming a situation down. It's an alchemical energy. It's the best way of putting it. It could even be reconciling some sort of circumstance going on with your health, where if you're having an issue, it's like, okay, let's figure out what do we need to do to fix this. You know, do you need to lose weight? Do you need to gain weight? Maybe you need some sort of medication. Maybe you need to go to a different doctor, whatever it is. Something is being reconciled here. It does seem like, and it's speaking to your groundedness and your ability to make a change here in this Queen of Cups energy. Now, your challenge is the King of Pentacles, which is really about, it's a beautiful energy, King of Pentacles. It is. It's generous, it's hardworking, all of that. This is you wanting to be settled in something. You want to be settled in that relationship. You want to be settled in a job. You know, just feel settled in something. You really do. But at the same time, right, you want to protect. This is a very protective energy as well. So you really don't have a lot of patience for anyone who is trying to take your stuff. Now, when I say your stuff, I mean anything from your money, your property, anything that matters to you, your kids, your ideas at work, your personality. You know, especially if you're dealing with anybody who has some narcissistic tendencies. I'm not saying that they have to be a general narcissist. I'm just saying those tendencies where they're coming in and trying to change you, tell you what you think, tell you how you should be, all the things that are wrong with you. You know what I mean? That's not going to bode well for you right now. And that's a challenge, because it seems like somebody is trying to take something that doesn't belong to them. And you're not okay with that, okay? And it could be in any of the ways that I just mentioned. So we have the moon in the near future. Now, if this has to do with relationship, this is about confusion and disappointment, because you genuinely feel let down. And that feeling of being let down creates this lack of trust that the relationship can work. So this could be with an intimate relationship, a business partnership, a family situation, friend, doesn't really matter. It's this idea of, wow, what did you do? What happened? You know, that kind of thing. This is very confusing. If this just has to do with career and money, you might achieve a goal, but you end up sitting back and like, was it worth everything? Was it worth all of that? And the emotions are running high, you know, with colleagues, maybe a boss, whatever, somebody having to do with money or careers. This could even have to do with a lawsuit, something like that, a family, if it's a member of your family, something going on there. But you feel like you need to protect yourself from the negativity. Now, the thing is here, money matters might be stable, even though I'm saying like money, career, whatever, they might be stable, but you're wanting more. It's not that you want more money necessarily, but you want more satisfaction than just a paycheck. You want more satisfaction than just settling something. There's this sort of this element of satisfaction that you want. there's so much communication here. I mean, and going back to also the Gemini energy. Let's just go back. I'm sort of working backward, like jumping around the week. But on May 13th, we have Jupiter entering Pisces. And we're all talking about this. This is so important to understand. Because one of the most important ramifications of Jupiter and Pisces, if we're open to it, is the idea that when things seem like they can't be saved, like they're past the breaking point, Jupiter comes in and salvages the situation. You know, I was in this kind of energy. I'm like, yeah, Jupiter is a get out of free jail card kind of thing. And this has less to do with good airy fairy luck and all of that, and more to do with Jupiter and Pisces bringing a deep faith in the significance in life and the benevolence in people and of a situation. And you are having this in your third house. Third house is the home of Gemini. So I'm saying a lot of Gemini energy. Again, everything I mentioned about Gemini in that third house, communication, doing business as, learning something new, siblings. There might be a lot going on with extended family, your neighbors, your neighborhood, anything like that. So there's a lot going on here, right? But it's really important here to understand we need to be open. We need to understand whatever placement Jupiter is in, he's looking for two main things: the meaning in life regarding that house and the truth. And in Pisces, that meaning is not found in anything external. So it's not found in your coworkers. It's not actually found in the job that you're doing right now. It's not found in the diagnosis of some sort of illness or something external. It's not found in that. Especially, it's just not it's not in there. It's not, because you have all this energy, Geminian energy in the sixth house. So it's squaring this third house, which means there's this tension that you really have to look at, right? This is a very important time to go within. Really important. And what does that mean? Meditation, exercising stillness, praying, allowing yourself to go on a retreat if you can, even if it's for an afternoon, listening to some really good music, but like saying, I'm going to take a chunk of time out and just listen to some really calming music. I'm going to elevate my legs. I'm going to put my hands on my belly. I'm going to do some breathing exercises, or maybe just go into an art gallery if you can, just doing something to pull yourself away, right? Because this is the tricky part, and I've been talking about this in all my videos this week, because I know this is being pushed as a very, very positive energy, and it is, if we know how to work it. Because the personal truth that needs to come out in this house, it might be uncomfortable to some of you, which can cause some of you to run around desperately hunting for joy in other directions instead of within yourself. So for example, you might have a situation going on with a sibling. You might have a situation going on with some sort of business negotiation that's going on, or some sort of lawsuit that's going on, or a situation that's going on in work, right? Because we have the square to the sixth house. And instead of looking inside of yourself for the answer, how might I be able to handle myself differently in this? How can I affect change from my perspective? Recognizing that I can't change that person. I can't change the situation. I only have the power to look at me. You understand? Because if you don't do that, what can easily happen is reckless behavior, overindulgence in alcohol and drugs, manic theatrics, hypocrisy, any kind of self-undoing kind of thing, because this transit does push us to give of ourselves and to embrace compassion and imagination in a different way than we normally would, regarding, because you have it in the third house, that business situation, that sibling situation, extended family, your neighborhood, that that contract, any mode of communication. You might just have to look at communication. Now, this isn't to point any fingers at you at all. It's not that. It's really inciting that if you're feeling something going on here, recognize that you can't change that person. You can only control you. And that's where the gift comes in, right? There's a reason I went into that whole little thing before I pulled this card up. We have the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords it's a Saturn and Libra energy. So Saturn is about slow and challenges. It's Chronos, it's time, it's no, it's not yet, it's all of that, right? And when it's in Libra, Libra is the landlord of the 7th house of contracts, marriages, partnerships. 3 of Swords is the card of pain in this area. So some of you may experience it as heartbreak. Some of you may experience it as a basic pain of a truth, of any situation, betrayal, depression. But the doubt is going to be cleared up that you've been maybe lingering, that's been lingering around, and you're going to be able to face reality here. And that's important, because once you face reality and once the confusion is gone, then you're able to move forward in something away from that pain and begin some real healing. Yeah, I do want to say that 3 of Swords, again, as I always say in my readings, because I think it's remiss not to, this can indicate a possible heart issue that may need attention to safeguard. And I'm saying to safeguard because it's still a minor arcana, okay? So safeguard any sort of circulatory issue, especially because you have a lot of energy popping in that 6th house of health. Blood pressure, angina, anything like that. If you're not feeling good, Capricorn, just get it looked at. That's it. Just get it looked at. But it does seem like you're between things here. We get the between worlds. So let's pull some more energies. We have the Star. Okay, something very faded is going on. Yeah, look at that. We got the 5 of... That is so... You have to love the cards. I'll talk about that in a second. Hold on. Let's just finish pulling these. Yes. All right. Yeah. I mean, something is definitely ending and you're shifting in a particular way. And it's all happening just as it should. We have the Star energy here. So... I mean, look, this in numerology, sometimes I like to pull in the numerology associations because I think it helps to make sense. In numerology, the Star is the strength energy, which is Leo, right? And that could indicate kind of being tested, but dealing with somebody where there's some sort of imbalance with the ego going on. So you might be dealing with something like that. And things go positive, but there's something that needs to be balanced, right? And this is about a change for the better after a difficult time for you. So if this has to do with a relationship, this could indicate that you're destined to be with somebody. It could indicate that it's time for you to find that soulmate. If this has to do with career or money, something very blessed, something very serendipitous is happening with the Star energy, because this is about hope, guidance. It's like divine inspiration and intervention. It's money luck. What you do begins to pay off. It's like you've considered your long-term goals here in this energy. You've prioritized well, so you might be guided now maybe to begin a new business or explore that hidden talent that you didn't realize was as fabulous as you maybe kind of thought it was, but it ends up being even better than that. So this can indicate, when it comes to career and money, a rising of status or recognition. Okay, it can mean that. So however it would resonate with you. But we have the 5 of Swords happening here, which means that there's a clash between what you really want and the reality that you're living, and it's creating a tension. And the reason for that tension has little to do with you right now. That's the truth. You better to walk away with the grace and dignity and just deal with your anger and disappointment in someone or a situation, because someone needs to look at themselves. You can't mitigate their stuff. You can only mitigate yours. That's exactly what I was saying before. You can't fix the unfixable. And you know what's unfixable? Everyone else from you. We don't have that power. We don't have that power. It's the wrong way of looking at things. It just really is. From a fundamental, like Psych 201 a point of view. It's yeah, you can't fix that stuff. It's frustrating. But look at you with your Ace of Swords. Auspicious for every area of your life, my friend. Honestly, new beginnings, decisions, clear thinking. Clear thinking in work, love, any area of life. An immediate change to your circumstances for the better, because you're going to be very mentally agile. And assertiveness, again, is going to bring success. Remember when I said there's a difference between assertive and aggressive? The yin energy, this yin and poise, this is like a very assertive, it's not aggressive. Which is really, really, it's a lot more. You're going to have a lot more success with that approach. And if this has to do with relationship, it's about getting over past obstacles, getting what you want, thoughts becoming things. So there is going to be some conflict here, though, with this Five of Swords, something that you have to work through. But just understand that when you're in it, you just have to say, okay, I have to give him a little bit of space. Going in and fighting to the death in this thing is really going to be a waste of everybody's energy. Somebody needs to see something differently. Someone may even need to see, with the star energy, their ego quelled a little bit so that their ears can open up and their eyes can see more clearly. So, sometimes a little ego stroking is just what the doctor ordered. But we have two ending energies here. Now, this is going to be, obviously, for some of you, are going to be in the space where it's like, I want this Ace of Swords to be a new beginning, period, the end. I don't want to go back to anything. I don't want that thing to work out anymore. That's it. It's just like, you just don't want it, right? Again, new beginning, clear thinking. So this clear thinking in work or love can be, I need to be out of that relationship. I need to be out of that work situation. I don't want to deal with that Five of Swords energy anymore. I can't mitigate it. And it's almost like you're feeling guided, just heavily guided to move on or into something else, because something's ending here. This is endings where there's a history here. There's always a history with the Ten of Swords. So, and it's the final release of something that releases you from that frustration and stress, even if it hurts, even if it's painful. It's the end of something challenging so that you can transform into a healthier version of yourself, with fresh eyes and a new perspective. And this is the thing. All the signs are there. Tower's a Mars energy. And, Mars, what Mars does for us is Mars gives us all the red flags along the path, hoping that we see them. More often than not, we don't. We choose to be like, no, I don't want to deal with that. Oh, no, okay. No. And that's where we make excuses for people, for situations, for all kinds of things, until Mars is like, all right, this person's not seeing it. I have to go in and take this down. I have to make it so that that job can't work out for them. That relationship can't work out. That family situation, you have to love them from across the street. It can't continue. It's like a necessary surrender here in this energy. So it's time to let go of past patterns of relating to a situation. So for some of you, this is could be a complete change in circumstances having to do with work. Some of you may be experiencing this as an internal tower moment where you're just like, wow, you know what? I can't, right? I just want to change things. I'm realizing things. And the thing is, you may be realizing things, Capricorn, because this new moon energy on May 11th in Taurus, you have this going on in your fifth house of fun, of love, falling in love, romance, children, what you want to do. There's going to be a lot of light bulbs coming on. And this is a really good energy to commit to your personal goals that you really want, for yourself and for your life. And it's listening to your body. How do you feel, right? Because Taurus rules the body. Taurus is the landlord of the second house of money, things we value. But Taurus, and it's because it's ruled by Venus, anything Venusian, but Taurus does rule the body. So listen to your body. And you should be concentrating on what you can do to increase your feelings of self-worth and simplify your life in key ways. This is like, I can't keep doing this anymore. I got to simplify my life. You're going to be in the space where you may be reevaluating your relationship to money and possessions and things that matter to you, and figuring out what truly, truly, truly makes you happy. And really exercising some sort of new creative way of seeing, using, and approaching your personal possessions and your valuables and your money and your talents. All of these things are in focus right now. There's so much healing potential that can go on right now, especially in this fifth house, because it's like, I want to do this because I want to do it. That's the fifth house. Now, this new moon harmonizes with Neptune and Pluto. So what does this mean? You're going to feel very supported and pushed to start something fresh, brand new. And while the squares to Saturn and Jupiter are wide, they're relevant here because the new moon is closely squared the Jupiter-Saturn midpoint. So don't be surprised if you're dealing with this desire to grow, expand, get into that job, open that business, get into that relationship, but you're also dealing with limits and rules. And that back and forth can end up taking up a lot of energy. So you want to be careful to not be too controlling or too lackadaisical in a situation. But with this energy here, this Taurus energy, we have the chance to make important changes in our lives wherever this is focusing. And again, for you, it's your 5th house. So it's time to make some solid yet realistic plans and set the stage for reaping the rewards for some sort of new beginning, as little or as big as they may be, right? Really set the stage. Little micro changes are awesome. And in about 2 weeks' time, after the full moon happens, you're going to feel the beginning of the shift. You're just going to start to feel it. And that 5th house energy, again, is everything that I mentioned there, having to do with your children, love affairs, romance, but it's also your talents, your gifts, your abilities. It's your entrepreneurial efforts. The 5th house works with the 11th house, which is the house of goals and gains. So that's a money axis as well, through your own creative efforts, it could also be you focusing on, hey, I don't want to be single anymore. Or I see this relationship going nowhere. It's time for me to move on. Or it's time for us to level up this relationship. Like there's got to be some sort of change. As then we have the final energy of the 2 of Wands. And 2 of Wands is making plans and moving forward. This is about partnership. You gaining influence in work regarding your approach to something, right? But there are 2 aspects to a situation. You have to figure out which is going to either best maximize your skill set, which relationship is going to resonate with you the greatest. This does also indicate for some of you a new romantic partnership, maybe through work or friends. This could even be you and your partner just venturing in a whole other direction. Overall, really good opportunities are on the way. Really good for your personal life, your private life, however it's resonating with you, but there is this space. So I like that we got between worlds for the center energy on the wisdom of the oracle, because I really do feel that it's almost like you're crossing the street. You're sort of entering this new phase. And I mean, look, the Jupiter entering Pisces is kind of a big deal because it's been hanging with Saturn. It's been hanging with Saturn since December. It's going to hang here for about 3 months. Then in July, it's going to end up going back to Saturn, back to hang out with Saturn around July 28th. So really use this energy. Use this energy. Use this energy. Okay, so let's talk about relationships. Relationships for our Capricorn, our sea goat friends. Okay. Messages for Capricorn. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Temperance. It's always good. It's challenging it. 7 of Pentacles. Ooh. Losing your patience for somebody in relationship. Okay. Mm-hmm. That damn devil. Got yourself there as the final outcome. All right. Let's pull some Healing Yourself oracles. We have the 3 swords coming into this energy. Again, card of pain, disappointment, betrayal, sadness. There could have been a cheating situation going on. There are many ways we can hurt ourselves, hurt each other, besides infidelity. Somebody could have been very reckless and irresponsible with money, didn't tell you. They might be, nursing some sort of addiction that you didn't know about. That could create pain. There are many ways that we can handle this, but the thing is here, and this is coming into this energy. So this is the recent past. So you might be experiencing, some sort of whatever pain it is, but you're realizing it because there's always a light bulb moment, right, with the 3 of Swords. There's, confusion's gone. And you're able to actually have some clarity moving forward. Now, for some of you, you may be, in the recent past, you may have been struggling with some sort of heart situation as well. Some sort of issue, like circulatory, blood pressure, angina, AFib, any kind of situation having to do with the heart where you're in the space of healing now, right? You're coming into the space of healing. Because we have the 7 of Pentacles is crossing the Temperance. So let's see what we have there. Could also be a partner who had that challenge with their heart. Okay, so we have say what you mean, victim consciousness, and patience. See, I feel like patience might be a little bit of a rough go for you right now, only because that's Seven of Pentacles. This is, you need to be patient, right? This is hard work, putting a lot of hard work into a relationship and being patient. But feeling like there is this potential for success. We have the Temperance Energy as the first situation card. So this is a new level of trust and patient cooperation in the relationship after what may have been a challenging time period, right? Which certainly we have this Three of Swords energy. So some of you may feel very energetically or spiritually pulled towards a new partner if you're single. Very emotionally intense time. So there was some pain, but it does seem like there is this desire within you to have this tempering of the situation. But you're having a hard time being patient about it. And it could be because you're waiting on somebody else to make some sort of change or something like that. And I think it's interesting that we have say what you mean energy. Because the say what you mean means literally that. You know, don't beat around the bush. Don't, you know, sidestep an issue. Just get to the point and say what you mean. And that's kind of like what I was saying before as well. And that sixth house energy, I gave the example of your coworkers, but the sixth house energy is a lot more than just work. It's your day-to-day experience. And it's communicating in a way that actually helps you to feel better. And this is something that's very important to know, Capricorn. In Taurus season, we feel our emotions a lot more. Not to say that we become more emotional, because Taurus is not a water energy, but because Taurus rules the body, whatever matters to us, if there's some sort of like somebody being at cross purposes with what we want, we could easily feel it in our body. Stomach issues, trouble sleeping, some sort of anxiety, depression, ruminating thoughts, loss of appetite, overeating, anything like that, right? That could happen with the Taurian energy as well. So you really want to just say what you mean. We have this victim consciousness energy here. So this could be you or an energy that you're dealing with. The energies could always be vice versa with tarot. Most of you know that. So victim consciousness is just kind of like this Pisces energy, where you feel like you give and you give and you give and you don't get anything back, and you're just always sort of feeling like, what the hell is this? It's like a Chiron in the seventh, right? Those of you who have Chiron in the seventh, you might feel this, you might experience this, because if you have Chiron in the seventh, you experience a lot of pain in relationship throughout the trajectory of your life until, you know, we figure it out at a particular point. But it's that, it's like, you know, why the hell does this keep happening, right? That kind of thing. And just be patient. Be patient and be very communicative. Like, try not to, nobody's a mind reader. Even if it makes sense that they should know something by now. What do you mean you don't know? That kind of energy, that could be very, very frustrating. We have the Eight of Pentacles here. And wait, I'm getting something else here. With this Seven of Pentacles crossing Temperance, you want to make sure that you're not making excuses for anyone, Capricorn. You want to make sure that you're not in this space where you're like, okay, I'm really being tested with the patience here, but I'm gonna stick with it because I understand that they're doing this because of A, B, and C, and I'm not ready to give up on them yet, right? So it's this feeling like, oh, if only they would be more communicative, if only they would be less concerned about money, if only they could be more loving, you know what I mean? Fill in the blank there. You want to be careful of that. Okay, not to cut myself off, but that just came to me. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles here. So the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is, in general, just a need for a logical and diligent approach to the relationship, and how you approach the relationship is you're in the space of trying to figure something out, because 8 is the number of mastery. So very, very focused on what's necessary to figure this out, right? Look at her. She's got all of her herbs and everything in front of her, and she's just trying to figure out the right combination of things to make something work. So you want to make sure that you're not exercising too much mental gymnastics here in order to try to make something work. We have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. The Ace of Swords in reverse is stress, mental block, poor judgment. You might even be dealing with some dishonesty. You might even be dishonest with yourself. There's always that. Because remember, the energies could always be vice versa, but there's some sort of, I feel like there's some sort of block. You may be feeling some sort of block reflective of this Three of Swords pain. But then we have the Two of Wands as you right now. So, I mean, this is a new romantic partnership. Maybe through work or friends. Sort of new opportunity coming in. But because there's two, and Wands are will and passion and motivation. First of all, some of you may be like low-key, maybe not so low-key, waiting to hear from somebody. But then at the same time, it's like you're moving on. Because there are two aspects to a situation here, and you have to figure out which one would be best for you. Just to go with that situation or this situation. What's the best thing to do? So some of you may be, now this obviously, it could be two people, but it could also be two elements within a situation. Like one wand could be, should we get married? The other one is, let's just continue what we're doing now. Should we have a baby? Should we not? Should we get married? Should we not? Should we move in together? You know, two aspects of something. But we have the external energy that's influencing you right now is the Five of Pentacles. So first, this is a very psychological card. It's not your psychological position, but this is an energy that really deals very internally for you, okay? Or a person that you're dealing with. Because this indicates a test. This could be a test of resources, a test of where somebody that you're dealing with is having a test of resources and some sort of financial issue, or at least a fear of financial issues, and they're trying to figure out new options and a new way out of something to see the way forward. It could be that, or maybe they're in fear of losing their security or their home, and that's an issue. So you might be involved with somebody who's maybe like their divorce isn't settled yet, and they haven't settled it yet because they don't want to deal with having to make the payments, or they don't want to deal with compromising their safety and security, and you're like, I don't know if I should wait around for this person or not, or should I just keep going? That kind of thing. It could show up as that. Again, this could be somebody that you're dealing with, or them dealing with the pain in the aftermath of maybe your breakup or something painful like that. Or this could just be the general energy surrounding you, where you're the one who has the fear of financial issues, and you can't, you're feeling very insecure about something having to do either with finance or connection right now. We have the Queen of Wands in your challenge. Again, now this is completely internal, this energy, okay? And Queen of Wands, what's going on? Because this is your block. Internal block, and you're feeling very blocked to fully step into your power, like 100%. And this is interesting because I feel like you want to. You have everything. You have all the tools in your toolbox to do this. You have everything there. But for some reason, you can't bring yourself to, I don't know, either like pull a trigger, something like that. You might be dealing with somebody who's just sort of very apathetic, or somebody who's cold, somebody who's angry and aggressive. Some of you might be dealing with somebody who's really boring, and this is a challenge for you. And you're just sort of feeling like very apathetic, like whatever happens. I'm just, you could be at that point where you're just like, whatevs, But still, we got another two. You're at an emotional stalemate here, it does seem like. You need to make a decision. You want to protect yourself, but you want to protect yourself, but you almost don't want to bother doing what all of that means, right? But the situation's not going away. Why are you at an emotional stalemate? I feel like it's like this you're feeling sort of very apathetic. But you have to, going back to you have to say what you mean. If you are feeling like the victim in something, and that's your subjective feeling, communicate that. Say what you mean. Why do you feel like that? Right? You don't want to go in and just say, look, I feel like I'm being victimized here. What does that mean? Like, go in with specifics, it does seem like, is going to help you get through this Two of Swords, because you have to resolve something. You have to stand your ground and say what you think, because it's only through that a decision is going to be made about where it is that you're going. And we have the Devil energy. Devil, this is you. But this could indicate several things this could indicate difficult relationship, like maybe a controlling partner, or there being some sort of like affair situation, like a lust over love kind of thing, or some sort of codependent patterning some of you who may be separated at this point, the devil makes you financial dependent or other ongoing money or maybe even property issues. It keeps you tied to the past in some sort of way. Others of you just might be dealing with somebody who has narcissistic tendencies, just this imbalance that keeps things shackled within the relationship. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, I feel like it either has to, somebody either does not want to give up any money, or somebody is really hell-bent on not feeling like somebody's trying to change them. Because these cards clarify the devil. So we have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is a really healthy conversation, feeling shared, the being well received, positive communication. You guys being in a pretty good space with the Three of Cups, right? Feeling supportive, emotional, physical healing. 3 is the number of creativity. Yeah, 2 of Cups is, mutually supportive. I have your back. Let's go. Let's do this. If things were difficult, harmony returning to the relationship. Lots of nurturing going on. And then we have the Judgment energy. So the Judgment is like love is assessed now at this point, though. Some sort of conversation happens. And as a result of that conversation, the relationship is assessed. And there needs to be this letting go of the past and making a decision about the past. But at the same time, you're feeling the sense of spiritual awakening that's going to be going on here. Some of you might be in the space where you want to revisit an old relationship and decide if it's worth trying again. But there might be this need to continue to reconcile something. There's got to be this reconciling of something. With the Judgment, it's like, look, what happened. We can't undo the past, whatever. We need to just move forward, right? So we are, okay, Page of Wands. So Page is a brand new cycle. Wands are will, passion, motivation, right? But you want to be careful here. This could also be a player energy. You have to be careful. For some of you, for others of you, you have this conversation. A lot of things are promised to you, but then you realize at the end of the day, you know what? This relationship is really not what I thought it was going to be. It's just not. It's not what you would like or expect. It might appeal in theory, but it's really not what it is that you wanted. Now, we have the King of Pentacles as the final card. This is the thing with the King of Pentacles, right? We got this before in the other side. No patience. Right? No patience for anyone looking to take what's his, whether it's money, whether it's assets, whether it's what they want for themselves in their life. Somebody coming in and trying to say, no, you don't want that, or no, that's not good, or no. That's going to be an issue. And I feel like that's where the imbalance comes in. Because the imbalance could actually be greed. It could be, and we could be greedy with things more than just our money. We could be greedy with our own emotions. People can be greedy towards us with their own emotions, where they're not willing to give beyond a certain point. But a lot of times they don't want to actually verbalize that because then it doesn't make them look good. So then we have to figure it out on our own based on what we're being given by the person within the relationship, right? So it's a tricky energy. I feel like this is a tricky energy you're dealing with, if you're resonating with this. We have Axe, Seduction, the Phoenix, Lightning. Okay, so the Axe is breakup, separation, stopping the pattern, silent treatment. And what's clarifying that is the Hammer. Sabotaging, repetitive. It's like, oh, here we go again, the same old nonsense over and over again. And we have seduction, attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, temptation, third-party interference. And that is clarified by a karmic relationship, fleeting triggers, turmoil, resentment, lessons. It's all about karma. Sort of seduction is going on. But then we have the Phoenix, a new phase, rekindling, renew, transformation, growth, changed mind. Clarifying that, though, clarifying this new phase, we have looking out, stalking, gaslighting, perception, focusing out, not focusing on the right thing. I feel like you're coming to terms with the way somebody is. So we have lightning, sudden change, shocking news, epiphanies, epiphany, transformation. And then we have Hand of Cards, taking a chance, being strategic, not showing your hands. So it's almost like the light bulb went on and you're like, all right, I got to see what I'm feeling here. You got to be patient. Say what you mean. If you feel like you're getting the shitty ends of the stick here, Capricorn, you have to you verbalize that. But what I'm getting is it's probably not going to be well received. But it's almost like you have somebody's number right now at this point. You really have somebody's number. You maybe were making excuses for them, but I feel like now you're just like, look, I know their deal. Now it's just like, what are you going to do about it? So let's see. Let's see what ends up happening by next week, because this is only for the 8th through the 14th. But anyway, my friends, long video here. Typically Capricorns don't mind, though. You guys are one part of my community. You and Geminis don't mind the longer videos. And just got to give the messages, got to do my thing. You guys have a great, great week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.